Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers podcast, a podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus de Mortiel, together with Kev the Gamer.
Happy New Year!
And stuff. Major Stupidity.
What's up, everyone?
And Death Shroud 09.
I don't think I can top Kev, but yeah, I'm back, finally.
Hey, you know what? Show more enthusiasm. If you didn't catch, you're in the credits now.
He's in the credits now. I forgot to pull up the stream. I'm pulling
We
it
have
up now.
credits?
You see how much he actually watches the show. The peasantry, the high level.
How do you... I don't watch the show. I'm on the show. I am the show.
You know, if I was posting up the show, I'd probably watch it more because I'd be more concerned about
Maybe
it.
it's because I edit and put another version of the show up.
Yeah.
I watch it to make sure. Well, I watch a chunk of it to make sure it's like right.
Yes.
And then I render it and then upload it.
Yeah.
I would do the same if I was posting it up, but because I don't, it's like usually not going to spend the hour and a half to watch it.
I don't spend that whole time watching it either.
I'll usually go back and I'll skip through little bits and look at really interesting points and listen to what's going on, kind of get an idea of how good it turned out. But it was
At this point, I don't even look at it. I'm like, after the show, I'm like, get it out of my face. I'm done with it.
Well, that's because you do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff too.
Yeah,
I just grab news stories.
pretty much.
You do it all graphics and shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, gotta make the podcast feel kind of legitimate, despite the fact that, you know, we're actually just a bunch of guys that just sit around talking about nothing, really.
Nah, that's just Joe.
The amount of research that gets put into this show.
Hey, what's going on, Sean?
Hey,
Another thing to celebrate. I brought this up last show too. This is 6 months. Our official 6 month show.
Yeah,
Well,
it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be last week, but you know, Travis, you know, and having to work and get money and things, and then Kev,
and it took longer than we thought to figure out those necromantic spells to raise Kev from the dead.
Well, it's that I was dead. It's that I didn't want to upchuck on the mic.
but that's
absolute shit last week.
Hey, listen to TNT. That's drama. I guarantee it would go viral. We'd have like 5 million views on the show just from Kev puking on the mic.
Yeah, but it's like I was telling you guys before you started doing the announcement. See, I renamed my PC because I used to call it the gift from Gaben, and then after the whole fuck Gaben thing that happened a few weeks ago, now it's the Blue Meanie because of all my nice blue lights. And I don't want to hurt the Blue Meanie, and like my hand is on it right now. You can't see my hand because it's off camera, but I'm like stroking it like a pretty lady.
Yeah.
By the way, I got a proper mic now.
Yes. Bunch of stuff happened. We got, you know, Joe's now officially joined the podcasting community and has a proper microphone. Don't worry, Travis will join the bus soon.
Well, I'm still trying to get Travis to ascend. Eventually. Like we were talking about ascending before the show about his ascension, and he's just putting it off.
He bought a bunch of bullets instead.
Yeah. He bought bullets, wants rifles. Fix his truck, and has money to ascend. It won't ascend. Encourage him to ascend in the comments and in the chat.
Pretty sure he's trying to become a mercenary as a line of work.
Because I'm, you know, a backwoods hick doesn't mean I don't want a new computer.
It means you'd rather shoot things. You'd rather go around and shoot bears and gators.
Seems legit.
Hey, you gotta shoot them gators, man. It's in Florida, okay?
No, it's mostly the mosquitoes that I just need to really take out.
They probably they have some type of firearm sitting in the bathroom just because, you know, in case they come out of the toilet.
Probably for the roaches. I've seen. I don't know. I haven't been to Florida, but I've been to Mississippi and Alabama, and them roaches are fucking huge.
You obviously haven't been to New York.
We get scorpions.
I'm pretty certain once.
New York probably have an apartment.
I'm pretty certain once I saw this mutant hybrid of a rat and a roach like fused together on a genetic level. It was craziness. But
I saw that on a person once, and she thought she was cute, but that's another story for another day.
By the way, Travis, just throwing out there, Zyphon has offered to build you a computer.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
Hey, any of us are capable of building it.
He has before.
Yeah. Sean, 5 inches. Those are the baby roaches in New York City. Yeah.
I don't care. Sean.
Those are the Manhattan roaches. Those are like the high end roaches.
No,
We
no,
want
no,
the ones
no.
from the
5 inches. Those
Bronx.
are the babies. Those are the small ones. You know, the big ones are as big as a rat. You know, they're like
That's
a
what I mean.
foot
They're in the
long.
Bronx.
Yeah.
The moment you go, the moment you
The
go to
truck
lay on your
roaches.
couch, the moment you go to lay back and lounge on your couch, and you get stung by a damn scorpion, then you can come complain to me.
Whoa, welcome
Oh
to
man,
Arizona.
Yeah,
you
scorpions.
know, up there, you move your couch out of the way because you dropped your keys, and this big old roach just pulls a piece out on you, and you know,
This is like Joe's
probably
apartment. Yeah,
Okay,
I know you
okay.
guys remember that movie.
Careful with any sorts of racial implications that might have. I'm just throwing that out there.
does that really? I thought that was
I
just
was just talking about Joe's
gang-related.
apartment in the movie.
Yeah, you do know that I'm almost certain that roach is some kind of derogatory racial slur. I just don't know which.
Is it really?
It applies.
No,
I
none
don't
that I
know.
know of.
Maybe a really obscure one, and it seems
Yeah,
like
an obscure one that I
referencing
don't
some
know.
type of Latino nationality.
I'm just imagining some giant insect pulling out a handgun and trying to rob me for all I'm
That
worth.
somehow that reminds me of Men in Black.
Yeah, it should. So what games have we been playing?
Well, yes. Anyway, so by the way, if anybody didn't notice, we missed last week, as yes, a lot of people noticed, as the normal debates and conversation that we have on the podcast spilled out over Facebook, as Kev, Joe, and I decided to go, head to head over like random topic that came up. I don't know, but we also played some video games and stuff. So, Kev, what have you played?
Just Cause 3. I've actually been all over the place. Like, I'm still playing Just Cause, Star Wars Battlefront, COD, and I tried the Dolphin emulator today. And I was surprised at how many options it actually had for graphics. It had like all kinds of anti-aliasing options. I could pick the resolution. I could do the anisotropic filtering. I always have trouble with that word. It was kind of awesome.
So what game was this?
New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii U. Or not on the Wii U, excuse me, on the original Wii.
Wait, Super
Up and
Mario
down.
has graphics options?
On
It-
PC.
There's options where it needs to shunt the graphics. Like I'm pretty certain that could run on a Windows 98 computer.
I'm pretty sure it can. But on PC, it's all about choices and options and flexibility. So,
I guess.
yeah, they have to give you that.
So Kev has been going retro.
No,
Joe-
no, I've been playing Just Cause 3.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I just tried that
Oh.
too. Because I wanted to try the Wii emulator.
Yeah. In between, now the question is, can you blow up the Wii emulator in Just Cause 3?
Give me a mod, I probably can. You could,
Fine.
like, literally, it's just like a fucking Michael Bay movie
Yes,
for 20 hours.
that is actually literally what Just Cause 3 is. It is Michael Bay Simulator 2015.
And
That
I
is the
fucking
premise
love
it's
it.
built on.
Yep.
I fucking love it, dude. And it's gorgeous too. Playing in a max setting, 60 frames a second.
I will throw out the random bit that I noticed on there. So right, Michael Bay had the Transformers, Megan Fox exploitation movie series, until she got tired of it. But I think it's hilarious
Well,
that now,
she got exploited in Ninja Turtles.
yeah,
and
now it's Ninja Turtles, right? And they have a new Ninja Turtles coming out. It's Michael Bay. It's literally replaced robots from space with mutant turtles, and it's the same
From
movie.
the sewer.
I'm not even a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and when I first watched the trailers for them, and they showed Shredder, I was just like, he looks like he's straight out of fucking
Yeah.
Transformers.
He
He looks like he just came straight out
and
of
the same
Transformers.
sound effects.
I do agree as a fan of TMT.
It was like, this is a guy in a suit, right? He's not a giant transforming fucking robot.
Nope.
Correct?
Yeah.
It's like, nope.
And
You got
in the,
Michael Bay.
and in the trailer for the new movie coming out, right? It's like they showing like all this bad stuff happening, this and that happening, and then they have to show the one scene where Megan Fox is like tying up her shirt so it shows off her stomach, and it's
Of
like,
course.
well, this I'm done. Anyway, games. Back to
Michael Bay
games.
movies get
I
me
believe I believe there's a a line that fits this rather well, but I
Yeah, it's
think we
called
should.
Damn. That's the line that fits.
Called
That's
Once Upon a Time, acting was about your skills at pretending to be someone else. In any case, Joe, what have you been playing this week, or these past 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
Well, for the past few days, I've finally got around to playing Tales from the Borderlands. You know, the
Awesome.
latest Telltale game based on the Borderlands universe.
Besides Minecraft?
It's damn good.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You mean besides Minecraft?
I haven't played Minecraft in months.
No, that's the newest Telltale game. Is
Yeah, the
Oh,
single-player
Minecraft.
I fucking Minecraft. But no, Tales from the Borderlands is
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, it
Even
is.
if you don't like the Borderlands series,
I don't like the Borderlands
Tales from the
series.
Borderlands is so good.
I don't like the
Just
Borderlands series.
great
I love
characters. Just the characters are so well done. Like the characters they created, you know, their unique characters are all good. And then they had a lot of, you know, recurring characters from the series, of course. And even those characters that they brought in from the, you know, existing characters in the series, they characterized them and gave them so much more kind of a personality compared to how they appeared in the Borderlands games. And it's just, oh man, it's such a good series. It's so funny too. Like the humor is great.
The
Like
way-
even if you,
Well, like the
Go
way
ahead.
I heard it described is it was so right for it. It was perfect. They had everything set up.
Yeah, like I was saying.
there's been a lot of potential in that world that Gearbox hasn't really capitalized on.
No, because
And
they
And
want
now
to
for
make
our
a
product placement. Coffee.
They want to they want to make a single player MMO simulator. So
I mean, yeah, like their priorities are where they are, but I mean, Telltale just did such a great job taking that universe and really just
Yeah.
making such a compelling story
Well,
with
'cause
great characters.
some of them have been really rocky for them. Like Game of Thrones, that was a very difficult for them because
I haven't played it yet, but I have heard it's mixed.
It's
That's
not
just
it's
fair.
not that their storytelling isn't necessarily bad. It's just that Game of Thrones is a very complex and very in depth with excellent storytelling, both the book and the movie, depending on where you're a fan of. Some people hate the
mean the
show
TV series?
or TV series. Some people hate the series. Some people, you know, are religious about the books or whatever. But point is that it is such in-depth storytelling in there. It's really hard to try to shoehorn a Telltale game in there, right?
Right.
Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead, they had a lot of stuff there that they could put stuff into. Well, Wolf Among Us, that was a book, wasn't it? Right?
I think it was graphic novels or comics.
Graphic novel. That's right. That's what it was. I was trying to remember where it came from, but yeah.
Yeah, Wolf Among Us is really good too. Honestly, I would say Wolf Among Us and Tales from the Borderlands are both tied for my favorites from Telltale so far. Like, as much as I like the original Walking Dead, and even Season 2 is okay, but I mean, just, I don't know, Tales from the Borderlands just gelled with me so much. I think it was the humor. Like,
Yeah.
I understand they have different, like, tones. Like, obviously, The Walking Dead's not supposed to be super humorous, but I kind of prefer, I think, the really humorous story that they told here. With, you know, a lot of the humor was very much about just like these, or I don't know, it was just felt very natural from the characters, like just their interactions with each other. The dialogue was really well written and well voice acted. They had some great voice actors in there.
What the shame is about even Tales from the Borderlands and Game of Thrones, like they were both great games. I preferred Game of Thrones a little bit over Tales, but Tales was good too. I really liked Tales. They both got overshadowed by Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Life is Strange was just amazing.
Well, there were so many good, real, kind of, I guess, narrative games, I guess is what you'd call those. They're like
point and click adventures. That's kind of how I look at them.
yeah, you know, and there's been a lot of them. But Life is Strange though was probably, it's definitely been put a lot more eyes on that genre though.
I just want to note that is not me typing. That is Joe.
Yeah,
I was
no,
answering
it's,
Sean's question.
that's Joe's mechanical keyboard now that he has a mic that actually picks up stuff. Anyway, Travis, have you had any time to play video games?
Very little. I played a little bit of Don't Starve, which I'm sure you guys know what that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Great game.
I still need to get around to playing it.
Yeah, it's very good. Kind of, getting prepared to try out the new Shipwrecked DLC expansion, I guess. That they currently have. I think it's still in.
It's still in development, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's still. S-
But it's supposed to be. I think is that one going to be a free update like the multiplayer mode?
is it gonna be what?
Is it going to be free like when they did Don't Starve Together? Which is
No, it's gonna be paid like a Reign of Giants.
oh, okay.
Don't Starve Shipwrecked. Yeah, it's actually nope. It's out of early access, I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah,
No,
it
wait.
is.
No, it is. No, it is. No, it's still early access.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, right now it's in early access. It looks really interesting. I like the change in scenery. So I'm playing some Don't Starve to get ready for that.
Hmm.
Also, I've been playing this really extremely addictive and difficult web browser based game called Sinuous.
Farmville. What? What? Sorry.
It's called Sinuous. I just posted it in the Skype chat, and
You should
it's
probably put it in the
I'm
actual
already
video
on it.
chat so the viewers can see it
well,
rather
can,
than.
I'm
well, can
already on
somebody
it.
post it there, please?
I'm already
So,
on it.
because I don't have
Okay.
the thing open.
I was gonna
Uh,
say, like, great, just tell us behind the scenes, tell all the viewers that we put it behind the scenes, and that they're not
Got
good
it.
enough to see it.
Yeah,
You got
I
it.
already did it. I'm already on it.
But yeah, I really, it's interesting. It has some really nice, soothing music to it, despite it being a pretty hectic game once you get to the upper, levels. Um, and it's just a nice way to kill time when you don't have very much time to actually game.
Hmm.
Well, we got to
That's
find you some time to game too.
see, that's Warframe for me. It's a nice game to
Yeah.
boot up, stare at my character for about 5 minutes, realize that I don't have enough time to actually do anything, and then quit. Same thing with
Well,
Elder
What up,
Scrolls Online.
Warframe?
You know,
You know what's funny, and I'm probably going to open up a can of worms here. That's actually what I do like about how AAA games, particularly shooters, it seems like they're getting shorter, and I like that because they're becoming more pick up and play.
Hmm.
You can
What?
unlock.
This was the year of ridiculously large open world
Well,
game that
no,
expects you to
what?
sink
That's what
300
I said
hours into
specifically
it.
shooters.
Yeah, no, my
Even
Specifically,
shooters, like
no,
Metal Gear
no.
Solid
Okay,
became open
okay.
world.
Let's
I'm talking multiplayer shooters.
no. Let's take a step back here. Modern Warfare 3 was probably the pinnacle of pick up and play shooters. So
You
I
picked
you
it up
could,
to
Modern
play
Warfare
it and
3.
realized that it was awful and then stopped
well,
playing.
no. What I mean is
exactly.
you could actually like configure the game where it like when you booted up the game, it automatically threw you into a multiplayer lobby just straight out the gate. So as far as pick up and play, you could literally boot up the game, be into a match in like 30 seconds, play a match 10 minutes or so, and be out. So as far as pick up and play shooters, I
Okay,
haven't
yeah.
seen really any that have done that well, and that was years ago.
Yeah, and
I
that's
know.
yeah. Okay, I can see that now. I don't know if any of you play COD on PC because COD on PC kind of does that in a way because each mode, like zombies, single player, and multiplayer, are all three different games.
Yeah,
So you can literally just boot in and say, okay, I'm picking Ghost multiplayer. Click, it's its own game.
yeah.
It's in
That's
the
something COD has been really kind of pushing is the get you in as quickly as possible. Don't bother with the, like, tons of loading screens or really obnoxious things to kind of kill it for you. Yeah, and as Zyphon put it, he and I both, played Modern Warfare 3 a lot. So it was literally get you in as quick as
I'm
possible.
sorry. I'm sorry. that was the Call of Duty that made me stop playing Call of Duty.
Oh no,
I heard that
Same
from a lot
here.
of people.
I
and
haven't really
I
played a
never
Call of
got it.
Duty since. So
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people.
Modern Warfare
And
3 was
I
terrible.
never played the Modern Warfare series. My first COD was Black Ops 2.
Yes,
So-
Modern Warfare 3 was the one that most blatantly showed you we are releasing the same game every year. Modern Warfare 3 didn't even try to hide that. It was just, it came out, and it was like, this is Modern Warfare 2 with slight changes.
Yep.
yeah.
I was
Well,
like, I'm
and
done.
the thing is that they really haven't changed that since then, which is why I really haven't played any. I touched
It's sad
on
because
Black
Ops
Ops
2 apparently was really, really good.
No,
Black Ops 2 is really good. Black Ops 3 is really good, and they're very different.
I played. Now the thing is they did change things. Like the most change that the Call of Duty franchise has seen is whenever they kind of after Titanfall came out, of getting the Titanfall variations on there. You know, essentially having the jetpacks and parkour and that sort of thing, like Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. That's been the most significant change to the franchise in a while. But let's be honest, they kind of took it from Titanfall, because Titanfall took the risk. And they saw that people like that gameplay, and then they were like, okay, this is a safe bet.
Well, they still did it. Like the wall running wasn't in Advanced Warfare, but it is in Black Ops 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I noticed that Black Ops tended to, and Treyarch in general seemed to make a lot of advancement in terms of.
Treyarch make the best.
Treyarch takes the chances.
Treyarch makes the best Call of Duty games after Call of Duty 4.
Well, okay, they don't really take the most chances, I wouldn't say, because if you look at Black Ops to Black Ops 2, there wasn't a whole lot of risk in Black Ops 2. I'll throw that out there. Like I said, Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare, they both had significant upgrades from the previous titles. I'm still not really. I'm not going to be playing them. I'll be honest, but I've tested the waters on them and said, okay, they're at least doing something different. It's not like Madden.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, you remember when the Madden community, I don't know if you heard about that, when they revolted even a few years back, where they said, we're not buying this anymore until they changed it, and then they actually added some changes to it.
Like the dynamic crowds? That was great.
No, when I'm talking about, they boycotted it in like 2009, I think. And
I know.
They actually finally changed it in like
Madden 2010 was the one, I think, that was supposed to introduce the dynamic crowds, which was like 5 people on the side of the things that would do really awkward movements. It was so bad.
I remember the highlight videos for that. That was
so bad.
The greatest things in video games.
Horse Armor. Horse Armor is one of the greatest things in video games.
I mean, like, video game advertisement was my entire sentence that just got cut off because of train of thought.
But actually, moving on the games we played there, I've actually played video games these past 2 weeks. It's been amazing. I had time to actually play some Warframe, some Elder Scrolls Online, even some Star Wars: The Old Republic, and some Jade Empire. Decided to play Jade Empire. I even kind of got a bug up my ass about the freaking polarity system. I don't call it morality; it's polarity. It's not morality. It's silliness. Went on a big rant on Tumblr. Made this like 500-page treatise to morality systems.
Don't you know morality is polarization?
No, it's like not real world, not in the real world, but media.
Haven't you seen American politics? Come on.
That's what I liked about Dragon Age. It's like you went to Dragon Age Origins and it was just straight up like.
There was no morality in Dragon Age. It was just who approved and who disapproved.
Yeah, it was literally just like you can do literally whatever the hell you want. The only thing that's going to change is how people view you. Which is how it should be.
The little Dragon Age I played, I've always just oppressed everybody.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that in there it was really hard to actually, like, whenever you started making the choices on who gets the axe and who gets set free and all that stuff, no matter what, if you executed all of the prisoners you captured, not everybody would approve of executing them. It depended on the circumstance. So there was some complexity in there, and I agreed with that. That's really not morality. That's just, your companion system. So.
I think the biggest problem with the morality was simply that they end up tying it into game mechanics. Like, you go into Mass Effect, and it's like, I've got to,
I put in three points in this Tumblr post that I will not go into in depth as I did on Tumblr. Number 1, no viable neutral option where you can go the gray route, so to speak. Number 2 was the fact of having 2 morality choices and not something more like the traditional D&D.
It's literally either you're a saint or you eat babies.
Yeah.
Like, there's no in between.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's the fact of, that's not even, like the whole D&D route was the traditional nine block square of like lawful versus chaotic and good versus evil. that creates 9 different options to go.
True
Whereas,
neutral. It's the
yeah,
only way.
Like there
but
was no choice to be evil or to do something that's considered evil, but in the grand scheme of things would benefit people. Like
yeah,
there's no option to do that. It's like you're either murdering bitches or you're fucking Mother Teresa. Like
yeah.
that's it.
Well, and the thing is that the third thing, and this was the worst one, as I call it, the ultimate choice. I mean, sin. The ultimate sin was the you act one way through the whole game. You act like the most evil son of a bitch on the face of the planet, and then at the end, oh, I can choose the light side. Click light
That's
side.
Coder in particular.
I'm a saint.
Like it was awful.
Why is it just the way you describe that? I just think Fable 3.
No. Well, Fable 3 was one that not Fable 3 only. The original Fable, The Lost Chapters. Spoiler alert, everyone! Spoiler alert! If
Come
you
on, I
want-
still haven't played it. Still haven't played it.
Too bad, you're getting spoiled.
No!
It's been like 20 years since that game came out.
It's your fault.
But in any case, though, it's
That
like
game is timeless.
you could be the most good-hearted, halo around your head, angel wings, the whole shebang. But heaven forbid you put on that mask, you are now 100% pure evil.
Well, I mean, if
And
you
that didn't
think
really
about
spoil a
it,
whole lot for you. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so.
I don't have any
well,
context.
you know, I think if you think about it in real world terms, like if you did good deeds all your life and then went out and executed somebody in public, what would you
Like-
be remembered for?
Yeah. Well, no, the thing is, though, is that that's not even wholly it. It's like, for example, KOTOR 1, without spoiling the story points there, it's like I could be the most evil son of a bitch on the face of the planet, but still talk a certain person down from the dark side, so to speak, and be instantly 100% light side Jedi. Like, it literally would flip your alignment in that game. That
I
was
will
so
say
broken.
with Jade Empire in particular, I was disappointed when you can first initially talk to a character and he explains the two philosophies, the open palm and the closed fist. He describes it as like closed fist, yes, you're usually going to be more brunt about things, and you're usually going to be like using brute force and intimidation. Usually you're going to be kind of an asshole, but it was like your motivations were different. Like some people, maybe they do it because adversity breeds strength. Like maybe they leave people to their problems because, they'll grow stronger for having to solve their own problems. Like there's more nuance to it. But then when you go into the game and you make decisions, they go and they fall right back on the I'm a total asshole if I'm closed fist.
The thing is, though, is I actually, as I was playing through the game, I actually kind of disagreed with you. There were some closed fist choices
It's
that
just
were
some,
just straight
like
up
most, no.
But there was actually one that was actually a really major closed fist choice, not story related. It was a little side quest where a mom approaches you to save her daughter. You find her daughter got captured by slavers, is getting ready to be sold to some dude, some creepy dude. You kill the slavers, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, now you can let me free." And you're like, "No," or she's like, "Kill him for me, and I can be free." And you're like, "No, kill him yourself."
See, yeah, but that's like
Because
the
that's the whole thing of like, no, if you want to be strong, you do it. I'm not going to hold your hand. And that's a very closed fist mindset. That was one of the best examples of it. But like you said, there was many that was like, I'm a jackass. Ha ha ha.
I know,
It's like
I'm gonna be
arbit-
cool and then basically laugh in your face. It's like,
I'm just
not
petty.
doing this for the greater
That's not
meaning.
closed fist. It's just I'm being petty. Now, and there was also a quest specifically for closed fist players that actually kind of delved into that more, where you could get some closed fist points for doing it one way, but even more if you did it the right way. And the guy was like, you definitely have a very good mastery of the concept, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so, yeah, that was my complaint. Morality systems are dumb because I understand there's some complexity in making morality, but for the love of God, if you're going to make a morality system that plays into the game like Mass Effect or
I just think
Star
the concept
Wars...
of a morality system in a limited, and I understand there's more, choice, quote unquote, in video games, but in terms of like compared to reality, they are quite limited. And morality system is in reality, quite gray, and it's difficult to portray in a space such as a video game.
Well,
I just want to give a quick shout out to Canada because we started talking about Knights of the Old Republic and now he's playing it.
He's been playing it like all like last week or two.
He literally just turned it on seconds ago. I thought that was interesting.
yeah, but
I will say.
So how about some gaming news?
we'll get to that in
I
just
was going to talk about something.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll finish that.
I was going to say with the morality system, I think one game that does it particularly well is Fallout New Vegas. Because instead of, having any type of morality system, or, there's karma in there, but you can generally just ignore the karma system because it's just a relic from Fallout 3. Like, it doesn't actually really do much. It was like, you're asked to make decisions about towns, and it usually comes down to, do you want to do the long path, which is, the good path, where do you want the best outcome for these people? It's like, it's more work for you. Or you can just say, fuck it, and just be like, whatever, I'm just going to leave you guys, or I'm going to take the really short, easy path. And instead of, having people sit on you and it's like, oh, you're evil because you did that, it's just like, nothing really changes until you get to the end, and then the end's just like, well, because you did this, these guys are fucked. Well, and it was just straight up like,
yeah, which game is this? I missed which game that was.
New Vegas.
Oh yeah, New Vegas.
Yeah, honestly though, the one that I thought did it best was actually Dishonored. It was very simplistic. You just had the pacifist versus violent route, which dynamically changed the game as you went through it. If you went the violent route, shit got much harder towards the end. But at the very end of the game, you had no final choice like BioWare does, where you could essentially flip the tables. My one problem
with Dishonored was that if you do the violent path and you like, the ending's like horrible. Like,
oh yeah,
to get the best ending, you have to sit and restrain yourself.
But and you know what? I'm okay with that.
Disappointed me the most about Dishonored. I know. I'm just gonna get to the point where like Dishonored. I think one thing they did wrong there is that a lot of the best and most unique mechanics and like gadgets and tools you can use and some of the most fun powers,
lethal.
Yeah, are lethal. So it's like, you want the good ending? You're going to ignore basically 70% of the cool shit in this game, and you're going to spend all your time just skulking in the shadows.
Personally, I just want to throw it out there. Come on, you just going to play it one way? Like,
yeah, kill all the things.
No, I'm saying like you're just gonna like I played it twice. I played the violent and I played the pacifist.
Obviously, but I'm just saying if you want the best ending, you have to do the pacifist route.
Well, the way I always see it, like, the way I always see it is I'd always do the dark side first, whatever it is, so I can have the most fun, be as brutal as possible, and then usually the light side one is so much more difficult and requires a lot more patience.
I wish there was more thought given to the pacifist in giving them unique powers and gadgets.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with
yes, you're going to run both, but I mean, come on, why should one be deprived
that was actually
a lot of the cool shit?
Well, the thing is I also made that point for the neutral path. Neutral should have, like, special powers and bonuses if you want to do things neutral. But let's go ahead and get moving on to news stories. So, so we actually, the first news story kind of ties into the second one, so I figured I'd keep it along. It was actually from last week, so it's not that current, but, so essentially Valve, kind of made a statement, right before the launch of CES, where essentially they think that the VR is going to spur a huge resurgence in high-end PC sales. Of course, despite the fact that about the people that buy those PCs are about 1% of PC gamers. And my question to you guys... Mm-hmm.
My question is, 1% of PC gamers are probably less than that of the actual PC owners.
Yeah, 1% of PC gamers. I'm specifying that. It's like probably 0.1% of PC owners have those high-end PCs. And my question is will VR actually increase any high-end PC sales, or is it not going to be until the VR hardware is more affordable?
I feel like with VR, at least early on, people who are going to be the early adopters, the people who are going to buy it right now, are the people who already have high-end PCs.
Right, right, I agree. It's kind of like the people who pay to beta test they're going to pay to beta test anyway.
Wouldn't it be more likely that VR that VR becoming pervasive would decrease the price of higher end PC components?
No.
No, it's not going to.
Probably not.
Because obviously, then that means that there's more demand for people to have. Because currently, if you have like the HTC Vive, for example, which is Steam's backing choice, or the which they have not announced the price for that yet. The Oculus Rift is going to be $600. Yeah, it's going to be like $600 or some such. Or was it? No, I thought it was
the way I look at the VR
it's 600 for it. But yeah, it's the thing is that that's an expensive investment considering that most PCs are like most gaming PCs are around the $800 range. Gaming PCs, not regular.
The
PCs.
way I look at the VR headsets is you think about the people who are going to spend like $400 to $600 to get a monitor, like a display that has everything going for it, like the 144 hertz, good display that can also handle higher resolutions. Because that's what essentially what the VR headsets are, is they're extremely high-end displays. So it's like the same people who are going to buy these are going to be the ones who already own the powerhouse of a rig and already have the nice display and have all the bells and whistles.
But that
kind of
seems
sort of.
like
My PC can run VR. My PC can run Oculus Rift.
That seems like a pretty losing concept for a business, to be honest. If you're selling a extremely high, especially in the market that they're looking for, you're selling an extremely high cost product that requires another extremely high cost product to even use. So I can understand it with some things, but like the video game market,
I think it'll work on the video game, and particularly on the PC market, because the guys who are going to buy this early are the guys who are or who already, for example, have 4K rigs. Those are probably the guys that are going to buy this stuff.
And this is just early adoption kind of stuff. Like later on, it's going to become more affordable, and it's going to become
exactly. These are like the guys who have like 980 Ti's and SLI. Those guys are going to buy this.
I'm wondering if the market share that's actually going to be able to purchase this setup is large enough to sustain VR growth.
Well, the thing is that first thing you got to realize, we're going to be talking a bit about VR tonight for anybody wondering, because that's obviously been a hot topic in the news. So the thing is that VR is going to be a change in the market, not this year. This year, it's kind of the, essentially the beta test models. The early adopters are going to be the ones that are going to be buying into it. Which is why the Oculus Rift is $800, and why the Sony VR model is going to be maybe $800. It's not confirmed.
I hope Sony doesn't do that. I feel it'd be a mistake.
I would say this is like looking at 4K monitors and 4K resolutions, or 144 hertz monitors. It's like looking at the real high end stuff and being like, they're not gonna advance because the market's somewhat limited. It's like, yes, not everyone's gonna own a 4K monitor, but we're still pushing towards 4K anyway.
And the thing is,
with VR.
The thing is,
it's
just
like 4K TVs. 4K
well,
TVs
right now it's at a luxury, but we're pushing towards that more and more.
Yeah,
and it's eventually going to become more homogenized.
And I'll throw it out to Sean Stone in the chat there. It's not necessarily a 30 to 40-year-old single with no kids and have expendable cash. You end up with 30 to 40. Well, actually, I would say somewhere around the 30 to 50-year-old range that have kids, have a family. In some cases, in the latter end, might have kids that are grown up, moved out of the house, and now you have expendable cash, or you're getting in that stage of life where you're in the senior positions, and that sort of thing. You end up, a lot of those people that I talk to tend to be getting towards middle age, but they are in higher, more well-paid job positions. It's definitely, unless you are in a well-to-do family, or for some reason you are one of those young startup hot stars that are making money right out of your teenage years, most of the younger kids probably aren't going to be getting this yet. That's why you see the people that do have it, like say Markiplier, guy's rolling in money. He's got an Oculus Rift. So does Total Biscuit. Those guys are making good money, so they can afford that sort of thing. But your normal, average, everyday gamer, probably not going to have them for a while yet.
Right. That's what I thought was kind of funny too. When the internet like raged over the Oculus Rift and the price.
It was
Like
so
they
dumb.
felt like they
It's
were just
like
entitled to get one because they were coming out. Like,
Yeah.
no, it
how
was
do you
just
lose the
like
price where I
they
can't
were
afford it?
they were getting upset about the price. It's like this is brand new, cutting edge fucking technology. The display, I think it's like 4K resolution. They have to run it like 90 frames per second because anything lower
Yeah, we'll
would
give you
cause motion
major,
sickness.
yeah,
It's
major
like
motion.
these are some high end fucking displays. You motherfuckers, are you really surprised they cost this much?
Oh,
Like
They
let's
are
put
really?
it.
because
Oh,
they think it's like the Virtual Boy
I
with
just,
color.
I just,
Now I will say that to play devil's advocate, when they were talking about the headsets originally, they were saying, "Oh, the price range is going to be like
It'll be
between
affordable.
oh,
$400 and
that guy,
$600."
the guy
Like
who made that announcement publicly
so,
apologized for giving that incorrect statement
I'm
already. By
pretty
the
sure
way,
he
I
got
got to
cursed out on
say that
Twitter.
it is kind of like,
You
well,
know,
maybe you shouldn't have promised that if you weren't
well,
sure. Like,
you guys,
I don't have a
what I
problem with the pricing.
what I
600 isn't that
what's
extreme.
that, Travis?
what I would like to know is whenever he stated that, was it at that point in in development? Did they have lower resolution monitors and were having the problems with motion sickness, and they had to move to higher resolutions and higher
I don't think so.
FPS
It
I
was,
to
think they learned
compensate
pretty
for
early
that?
on that the
it
frame rate
was
had to be high.
It was earlier on in the development cycle, but as he put it, and I actually believe this, even though it's a poor excuse, I still believe that this was the case. He actually claimed that he did it to counteract rumors that the price was going to be higher than 600. I did actually see rumors that Oculus Rift was going to cost upwards of 1,000. So he was trying to counteract that, which I believe it's a poor excuse and kind of shitty. But you know, and he's having to reel back and explain himself now. But I actually believe that people would do that. So that seems very
Um,
logical to me.
something else that you need to wonder about is or that I'm wondering about is if current VR technology is still like I've seen it and it looks good, but it still feels kind of gimmicky in a way in where it is right now. I understand it's still in a developing process, but
It's
like
because VR, I think, as a system, it's geared towards and it's best at certain types of games. And I believe
like
right now they're still trying to apply it. Some that maybe it's not best at. Like, I see VR becoming something that's really good for something like any game where you're simulating being at like a console or like a control, like any type of piloting game or
yeah,
driving
piloting and
games.
driving.
Anything
Oh,
like that is well suited to VR.
They do have the new 360-degree treadmill for all of you that are really wanting to spend buku bucks, because I guarantee you that's not cheap at all. You know, the buku bucks, you can get the 360-degree treadmill so you can walk while wearing the VR
Yeah.
headset.
Hey, that's going to replace the gym. That's going to replace hiking.
Right? You
oh
know,
my gosh.
Like seriously,
You know,
like not
Fallout
now, but think about that in
Fallout
like
on that.
think about 15, 20 years. Now we're not gonna have, because like for example, my sister-in-law, she likes to go out hiking. She has to do like early or not hiking, but like go out for walks and jogs like early in the morning. And her husband's always like, well, I don't want anything to happen to you in the morning. So that would be like a great alternative.
Yeah.
There's already things like firearms courses where people go in and they do room clearing and things like that, and it's a very physical thing. Now just imagine that translated to something you can do in your home. That would be crazy. Like yes, I was saying that it was kind of limited right now, but with technology like what you said, 360-degree treadmill, it opens up so much for VR. It's the full body experience, I believe, that's going to be the most pervasive in time.
And for something fun, chivalry with VR on that treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
That
gosh,
would be badass.
you know, it, yeah, like I really like this technology. Don't I might sound like I'm really like hating or skeptical of the technology, but I'm not. I like VR is huge for me. I
It's
just don't
just,
feel like I'm going to be interested in it until the technology actually gets to the point where
well, yeah.
it is going to be a full body interaction.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that right now everybody wants the like the gamer experience, right? Everybody saw the movie Gamer and was like, yeah, that'll be
See,
awesome.
I don't.
I'm like, not controlling real people and killing things, but something like that where you have like some kind of full body interactive seamless control and you are in the game, or like Sword Art Online obviously is another example.
Bring
But
up Log Horizon. Don't even talk about Start Online. Fuck that show.
well, no.
Fuck that show. It's
Your
so
personal
bad.
opinions aside, nerve gear type
Show's
thing
so
where you have
bad.
a nerve interface, cerebral
it's gonna be
game experience.
It's gonna be so good when we develop that technology. Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and then Amazon controlled them too by leaking the price early. Yes, so Amazon, like, kind of just rolling into our second one there, continuing this into the cost and marketability sense. So Amazon supposedly leaked the price of the PlayStation VR, possibly at $800. That's not confirmed. That may not be true. But now, to make it clear, in the article that I posted on this made a very good point that a computer that can run VR, like the HTC Vive or some such, is probably going to cost around $1,200. Meaning that it's going to cost about $1,800 to get the VR and a good computer to run it if you're buying both new. Whereas Sony, obviously costs $400 plus, the $800 headset's $1,200. So it's still cheaper than a PC option. But that's still a steep price considering the usual buy-in for consoles. And the overall VR sense is pretty expensive, at least right now. Do you think that them actually launching initial offerings of these products at such an expensive price is going to hurt the overall market saturation, like
No.
how well they integrate into everything?
I don't think it's going to hurt the market itself, but I don't think that price is going to fly on consoles. Consoles is
Yeah.
They'll
we talked
spend
about
a
this
lot on their TVs. They will spend
yes,
a
yes,
lot on
they,
their
yes,
TVs.
they
That's
will.
what VR basically
But
is.
it's kind of like what we talked about before with the price of the console. And maybe it's me. I hang around a lot of different console communities online, and everywhere I'm hearing is saying, if this thing costs more than $300, forget it.
Yeah.
They'll say that.
300 is being
But
just.
watch,
A lot
once
of
it
people are
comes
saying
out,
like
we'll see.
150, 200.
Well,
You're
the
not getting that for
again,
150, 200.
The thing is,
Not at the gate.
They're not marketing it towards the average person. They're
I think
marketing it
there's-
towards the person.
I think there's
at least
also
initially.
there's also another misconception here, is that a lot of people, rightly so, are seeing this as a PC or console peripheral. And it's what in a manner of speaking, it is, but people oftentimes will separate AV solutions, TVs and monitors, away from keyboards and mice and that sort of thing. They see them in two different worlds, even though, they're both peripherals in their own right. But,
Right.
Like, they'll go out and spend, $800,000, $2,000, $6,000 on a TV, but they don't want to pay more than, say, $50 to $100 for a PlayStation Move or the PlayStation Eye or whatever, the camera.
Right.
In a lot of ways, I think that they're kind of seeing the PlayStation VR, and as it's marketed, as kind of like the PlayStation Move or those other things where it's a more simplistic peripheral, when in actuality it would be as if you go out and buying a PlayStation TV.
Right. I actually saw a lot of comparisons to when you say that to Connect.
Yeah.
So, do you think
Because a lot of
that-
people are still viewing these as a gimmicky addition. They aren't really realizing how big of a deal it's becoming.
What's
So
that, Travis?
Do you think that like financing options would really open up the market for VR and make the cost of entry low enough that people would be able to live with the high total costs?
I would
No.
totally recommend everybody go out and get a credit card with at least an $1,800 limit and max it out immediately, buying yourself a new gaming PC and an Oculus Rift. If you
Yeah,
can't
you
tell,
like
that
that-
was sarcasm.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
saying-
totally unnecessary.
I'm not
what-
saying that's a good idea for the people. I'm saying, would it be a good idea for the companies to get more people roped into it?
The thing,
No,
yeah,
what we need to do is wait for the prices to come down.
yeah. The thing,
Yeah.
no, it would be as far as marketing goes, it would be smart for them to subsidize it somehow. Like say for example, roll it into a PlayStation Plus subscription. Like hey, what is the normal Kev? What's the normal PS Plus subscription? Is it $8 a month?
I pay the yearly. It's 50.
$50 a year. So instead, tell someone that they pay, like $150 a year instead, which seems steep at first, but break it down monthly, it's not too terrible. And that, for so many months or whatever, to get yourself a PlayStation VR. Like you get the PlayStation VR and then you get signed on to a, so many year contract, however the pricing would break down, and it costs so much more a year. That's something they could do, but it's tricky. That's a very slippery slope.
the thing I said that, and then I thought about it for a second, and the thing that would make me wary about it would be that VR being such a new technology, it's most likely going to be a very fast moving and fast improving technology, meaning that if you finance for too long, eventually you're going to be quickly out of date.
That's true.
think-
And that's going to run into a cell phone problem,
Well,
We're
I
gonna
think
see-
even with that, the idea of financing, because I think prices are going to come down so quickly, it's not going to be worth it.
Kev,
In 3 years, I don't see these things being beyond like $300-$400.
I'm really gonna have to disagree with you, Kev. I think that they're gonna still stay high.
You think they're going to stay high 3 to 5
At
years
least
from
for
now?
about 5 years or so, I'm going to say they're going to stay pretty high.
At the very least, the newest ones are going to stay ridiculously high, if not increase in price.
You just have to look at it like these are high end displays. Like that's what they are. Like people look at them like they're peripheral devices. It's like kind of. But at the same time,
you're not buying a new headset here. You're buying
a high end fucking monitor, basically. Like that's what you're buying. This isn't just some peripheral.
Go out and buy yourself a 4K. The closest equivalent would be a 1440, 144 hertz monitor. How much is that going to cost you?
About 6, 7. I've been looking into them.
Yeah, like $600.
Depending on the size you get. You're talking like a 4K monitor can go upwards from there.
This is like those people, you see those people who have the long-ass desk and have like those ridiculously huge monitors. That's what you're buying with a VR headset.
You mean
you're
when
buying
I have it work?
You're buying that gimmicky, crazy-ass monitor that's like a super luxury item. That's what the VR headset is.
Yep. But the thing is that there is a lot of future potential for this. In all honesty, where I really see the future potential of VR, and at least in the iteration we're seeing, is mobile gaming. If we can get mobile hardware that's powerful enough to run it, that's the key. Right now, there's no mobile hardware on the market that's powerful enough to run this. But if there were to be such hardware, imagine you just go out anywhere. You don't need a laptop. You don't need a extra screen. You just need a controller and your VR headset or whatever other equipment you might have to lug around. Get a backpack filled with your computer tower in it.
for a quick comparison, I like the whole FPV drone thing. The higher end goggles that you can buy that are they're the best you can get, but at the same time compared to VR, they're still relatively low quality in terms of like video. The goggles will run you over $500. For much lower quality display. Yes, you're paying for transmitters and all that good stuff, but at the same time, you can see that these prices aren't completely outrageous for what it is.
Well, yeah,
they're not.
And I'll also throw it out there just to kind of throw it out there to Sean Stone talking about being only able to play for 30 minutes. So this is essentially the issue. There is a lot of people that have reported motion sickness issues for a couple reasons. It's usually misadjusted headsets. If you don't adjust them properly, like say it's your brother's headset and he's got a bigger head than you, or a friend or whatever, and it's not properly calibrated to your head, you can easily get motion sickness very quickly and will not want to play for a very long time. The second thing is frame rate. It has to keep it consistent, at least 90 frames per second, for it to not give you motion sickness.
I see them eventually going up fully to just 120.
120 or 144 at least.
Yeah, that just makes more sense. Now, what I read this comment too, what I got out of that is, well, if I work for 8 to 10 hours, even 12 hours a day, and I'm talking about when this comes down to like consumer level, like regular consumer level, where maybe somebody's working like in a warehouse or something for 12 hours a day. Yeah, they might want to take those extra little 2-3 hours a day they have left over for the rest of the day, sit on their ass and play games. They don't want to sit there, put a helmet on, and then go run on a treadmill for the next 3 to 6 hours.
Well, no,
that's what I got from that comment.
Yeah, no, it depends on what game you're playing. I fully agree that VR is not for all games.
Yeah,
it's definitely
not for all games, not for all situations, right? Eventually, it's going. I hope eventually it gets to the point where it can be usable for most games, but at the same time, it's not going to be mandatory for most games.
I want working VR for mech pilot games.
Oh yes, my god!
Anything you're in a cockpit, it's fucking perfect.
Yeah, anything where you're in a cockpit, a racing game, like where you're in the like. Does it show you like the dashboard console in Forza when you go first person?
I don't play first person.
Any racing games that have the actually show you the inside of the cockpit, or space sims, or mech games, anything like that is right now is perfect for VR.
That's perfect.
VR is an absolute dream for peripheral manufacturers. You say that VR is not in itself a peripheral. You want to think of it as like a monitor.
It is. I'm just saying it's almost like a hybrid of the two.
Just imagine what like certain games would require. You're going to have, for cars, you're going to have a new resurgence of like wheel and pedal technology. For mech games, you're going to have proprietary and off-brand controls for.
They tried that. Nope, that won't happen. I
see that happening. I see people using the same control setups that they've been using.
Yeah. Because Steel Battalion, the original Steel Battalion game, look it up, came out for the original Xbox, was like, I think it was like $150 or $200 game. It was a mech sim, not a mech combat game, a mech sim. It came with this giant fucking console controller with like switches, and like to start up the mech you had to flip switches in a fucking certain order. It was intense. It was amazing, but it sold for shit because nobody wanted that. They want to use their same damn controller. And the thing is that I actually saw.
I'm not going to say it's going to be pervasive, but I'm saying that the opportunity is there.
Yeah, and when I said, just to clarify, monitors and TVs are technically peripherals to a console or a computer. Yeah. I just say that people will logically separate them as far as a price point. Whereas peripherals, people won't want to pay more than a certain dollar amount for the more mundane peripherals like keyboards, mice, controllers, that sort of thing. Monitors, TVs, that sort of thing, they have the expectation for the price to be much higher.
Well, Morty, I know you say that it didn't sell very well, but at the same time, I think about it as VR being slightly different because the point of VR is immersion, right?
Yeah.
And having those game-based controls would definitely aid to immersion. If we're going to get to the point where we have multi-directional treadmills for people to play first-person shooter games,
I doubt that will sell very well.
That's a gimmick. I see with it, those will be gone. Those are
the thing is I am all for like those kind of immersion controls. I always wanted that Steel Battalion game. Good luck fucking getting it now, by the way. On eBay, it would probably go for crazy amounts of money. It's like a collector's item. They will never
become widespread. Like, they're the type of thing that you will have a few people get as like some weird gimmicky thing, and it's just like
it really depends. It really depends on the game, right? Because
their value proposition, honestly.
Yeah,
that's the trick. Is how well can you justify extra peripherals be necessary. Like for racing games, your hardcore racing game fans, console or PC, whatever, they're gonna have their wheel and their pedals and all of that shit because they want that immersion, right? Well, adding a VR headset to that and being in the cockpit of that car with the steering wheel, damn, it's amazing. Not as amazing as that fucking what was it, a Dodge Charger as the controller that I saw. It's not like the person was sitting in this car playing, like they had this big huge screen in front of the car that kind of wrapped semicircle around the car, and the car bumped and moved and rattled and rolled whenever you're driving. I was like, yeah.
Morty, I personally know a guy who took apart a truck, put it back together in his bedroom with a monitor set up with pedals and wheel and racing seats and everything.
Yeah.
And he had that set up, and it was intense.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, Sean, if there was a 50K headset at CES. I didn't.
That is an insane.
Well, Sean was in the comments saying he was there, wasn't he? He was talking about he saw the 8K monitors.
Yeah, I don't know if he was there or he just saw, like, that they had monitors there. Like, the big thing, obviously, there was a bunch of tech at CES. Not all of it falls into the purview of gaming. A lot of it's really cool tech. If you want to see the new stuff that's going to be coming out in a given year, the first week of second week of January always is the Consumer Electronic Expo. That's where they demo all the cool stuff that's coming out that year. I definitely recommend people look it up on Google. But in any case, though, it's there. I think that the final word on there is that there is going to be a market for VR. How well it will do, I think, depends on how well they can advertise the value proposition of VR, which is going to be the trick. Because right now, a lot of people see it as gimmicky, like 3D TV, and that was a gimmick.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I think they need to get over. The biggest hurdle is they need to show people that this isn't some luxury gimmick item. That's the biggest thing, because too many people right now have that
the end game for VR. Well, if you think about it, the end game for VR is for it to be a total family entertainment experience, right? For that to encapsulate that. Eventually, that's what you want. It's not going to be anytime soon, probably, but that's the end game for it. You want to have the 1984 TV rooms, or was that Fahrenheit 451? I can
One
never
of the two.
remember.
I can't remember.
84
no, wasn't it Cyber? What was the Cyberpunk?
One of those.
Yeah.
That's the end game, right? Eventually, that's what you want it to get.
But let's go ahead and get moving on to our last story here. And this is our new section on the stupidity of the week, facepalm moment. First facepalm of 2016, everyone.
I didn't think I facepalmed this week.
This is totally a facepalm. Sony filed a patent filing or a copyright filing for the term, the definition, and the usage of the words "let's plays." As in, that thing that tons of YouTubers do that's in the description of so many damn YouTube videos out there. Yeah, they're trying to copyright that, which means, now I'll get to the reason why it hasn't worked. But the idea is that they could market and monetize anything using the term "let's plays."
All right, can we just say right now, U.S. copyright law is so fucking outdated.
Yes, it's broken to shit.
And they're trying to trademark it, which is a little bit different.
I think we should broaden that to U.S. intellectual property. Anything needs to
actually, just in general, patent and copyright law in general worldwide is pretty fucking broken, not just in the US.
I mean, the fact that you can own a piece
I only care about the US.
Like public property.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is that to me that it was such a glaring legal pitfall of they can potentially claim ad revenue on Let's Players out there, like, for example, the biggest Let's Player, the biggest YouTuber out there, PewDiePie. That's all he does is Let's Plays, and in his descriptions are Let's Plays. Imagine if Sony could then tap his ad revenue. The guy who makes $7 million a year.
This reminds me of back in, I think it was 2014, when King.com, those jackasses behind this Candy Crush games and whatnot, tried to copyright the term candy. And tried to copyright. They sued the guys who made the independent developers who made that game, the Banner Saga.
Yeah.
Sued them because they used Saga in their game. Because they trademarked.
Well, okay,
Saga.
let's not forget that Elder Scrolls also sued, like Bethesda sued the guy, what was it, the Mahjong makers, the Scrolls.
Yeah, and it was. I remember they actually commented on that, and it was the idea of like they are obligated to go after anyone for even the slightest, getting close to infringing on copyright, because they said it was something along the lines of if they didn't, they would actually if someone legitimately caused a problem and they went after them, those guys could bring up, well, you didn't argue about this. They'd actually use it as a precedent saying you didn't defend your copyright, so you can't come after us for this copyright.
Which is
the
bullshit.
Whole system's so whacked out.
Yeah, it is. The problem is that everybody wants to own everything.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. Fortunately enough, just to clarify, the USPTO actually returned a non-final action to Sony, which is more or less, this is what you're trying to trademark this. It essentially means, no, there's something wrong with this. You need to look at it again. It's their way of saying no without actually saying no. So it's doubtful that Sony will actually win a copyright or a trademark on Let's Plays. But
it's more disgusting that they tried it, though.
What's with these Japanese companies and trying to
own the world?
Trying to fuck over Let's Players. Nintendo, fucking Sega, I think, had a big problem with it. Just, what is going on?
Japan, the only companies that really understand it, I think, are really Western companies.
Yeah,
but I think that has more to do with the authoritative nature of those Eastern places. If you come to the West, it is.
It might be because I'm sorry, Kev.
Oh, go ahead.
It might be because Western companies are closer to that audience in terms of I don't think Let's Plays are as big in Japan probably as they are in the US.
They don't have the time for them.
And that's kind of what I was trying to get at too.
So yeah, the U.S. companies are closer to that consumer base, and they don't want to draw the ire. And Japanese companies really just don't care. In combination that they don't understand, what they do understand, they don't care about.
Well, and let's also.
And the Western companies have realized that they actually get benefits from Let's Players covering their games.
Well, and let's also throw it out there too that Sony, obviously, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The new features of it is obviously the integrated Twitch streaming, and obviously what's one of the biggest things that what is Twitch streaming for? Let's Plays. That's pretty much all it does. Well, in a manner of speaking, it's streaming live, but it's still essentially Let's Play. You are watching a person play a game. That's pretty much it. But my whole thing is the audacity of Sony to do this says a lot.
Doesn't even surprise me.
No, it doesn't. I would have actually expected Konami to try to do it first, though.
Yeah, Konami.
Or even Microsoft.
Microsoft, for all their intents and purposes, they've learned a lot about patenting and how to do it. They don't do it the same way that they used to once upon a time.
They've also
Microsoft probably realized that this shit wouldn't work.
Yeah,
they realized early on. They were like, "This isn't gonna work."
We don't want to piss off gamers any more than we had. They're just starting to forgive us for 2013. Let's calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
Microsoft deeply understands now what happens when you draw the ire of your customers.
Yeah, exactly.
That 30 million versus 18 million, that one, or was it 36? I don't recall.
Something like that. But yeah, so that's the fun our first face palm of 2016. Obviously, at the end of this year, this will probably
more
make
to
the
come.
list, depending on how many more stupid things happen in 2016. I'm looking to Konami. Come on, Konami, don't disappoint us. We need to have you
I
on
don't
the
know
top
how
of the
they
list
You
could
know
again.
what? EA hasn't done anything stupid in a while. I think
You
they're
know, guys,
next. They haven't
I
done
feel
anything
like
stupid in a
I have
long
this
time.
weird feeling in my gut that 2016 is going to be a year of massive stupidity. What do you guys think?
Oh, every year's a
Well,
massive stupidity in the gaming sphere.
let's ask Major Stupidity on his opinions of this.
You're the expert on stupidity, apparently.
What is your gut feeling, Major? Do you think this is going to be, just
This is
a
going to be
total
the year.
cluster?
Well, I will put it out there. There is more comic book movies coming out in 2016 than there has any year previously. Does that mean that 2016 is going to be stupider as a result? Because next month I'm going to see Deadpool. No
I don't
doubt
know.
about it.
But how many of these movies will have Megan Fox? That's the real question.
Only
I
Teenage
feel
Mutant
like
Ninja Turtles.
I feel like every year that we don't get a second Firefly season is a stupid year. So
Hey, go
It's
as
never gonna
Zyphon will
happen,
tell
man.
you, go watch Killjoys. Killjoys. Yeah.
Like, I hate to step on your hopes and dreams, but Firefly season 2 is never gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I know
it's not going to
for a
happen,
fact.
but
Never gonna
Killjoys. Go check it
happen. It's
out.
better to realize that right now.
Major, I can dream. Okay, I can dream.
No.
Yep. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on to our evergreen topic for this evening. And we're going to discuss gaming subcultures, which, as I found out, does not mean playing classical music on a submarine. Subculture actually apparently has a different meaning.
Yeah,
In
but
any
that's my
case,
fetish.
in any case, essentially we're going to kind of go around and kind of pose the question of kind of first
Under my
establish
decks.
the premise of how do different gaming groups act and think. And are any of them inherently poisonous, or is it just the viewpoint, or inherently poisonous or beneficial, or is that just the viewpoint of the people looking at it? We'll go ahead and start with Kev.
Well, there's so many of them that's kind of hard. Like, are we talking about like the console fanboys or fanboys in general? Because the PC Master Race isn't much better. Are we talking about maybe cultures in certain games like Call of Duty,
So-
League of Legends tend to be pretty toxic. Same with Counter Strike.
So yeah, so essentially you have some subcultures like League of Legends is one, but another good example of a rather potentially inherently toxic subculture would be the FNAF subculture.
The FNAF.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh
guys
yes,
don't like
yes.
Yeah, they tend to be very, very toxic as well.
Sad because the first game was actually kind of interesting.
Hmm.
I
And then he
actually
was like, I'm going to release like 6 of them and also have a shit community. And it was like,
Actually,
yep, I'm done.
You know what community for a game I don't think it gets enough credit, but I love and hate them at the same time? The Souls community.
Yeah.
Nah.
Souls community.
They're hilarious.
they can be
Their
they can be
dicks at
very
times, they're
yeah.
hilarious.
It's the experience, though. It's like
So
Souls games, man.
what I'd like to ask about you guys are there any gaming subcultures that have basically passed that you wish you had been able to participate in?
Call of Duty in its heyday.
I have been involved in a lot of them from the beginning, so
But I wanted to ask: are there any that you wish you would have been in?
honestly,
Because I know I personally have one, at least one.
I kind of wish that I would have potentially gotten involved in the MOBA community when it first got started out, like whenever Dota first gotten started, that sort of thing, or even the WoW community when it first got started.
That's a big one.
Nowadays there's I don't know, you feel like that's past, like honestly WoW is losing tons of subscribers every month. The people playing MOBAs nowadays are like, it's not very catering to new players at all. Like it's really hard to get into that community. So that's about the only ones that I haven't been involved with that I would say would have been interesting to be involved with.
Yeah, I think the bigger problem, at least that I have with gaming communities, is more discrimination. Like, they are not very fond of new players. They're not very fond of anybody who's really different than them. Things like that.
It really depends. There are some that are.
Mhm.
I can't point any out
Maybe
right
some maybe
now.
co-op.
Would you say it's kind of they're fighting for their identity almost, and by they feel like they have this special, they're a special snowflake, and by more people getting in there, it dilutes it and makes it
Well,
seem more
there's old
mainstream.
guard and elitism in almost
Yeah.
every single
Yeah, there
game
is.
subculture.
Yeah,
Like, there's probably elitism in Candy Crush. So
Right.
shit. I didn't realize how much bad elitism there was even in like the PlayStation community.
Oh,
Like, maybe like if you
come
go
on,
on like Reddit,
come on,
I
Kev.
no. Like,
Seriously.
seriously, I never realized how bad the PlayStation community actually was until I went on the subreddit. I got cursed out. This was like a week ago, and I wanted to make sure my PS4 was having a connection.
As much as I love Reddit, Reddit is a community of circle jerks.
Yes, it is.
Well,
And
that's
but the
literally
thing
how
is,
it
I wasn't even bashing the
entertaining.
PlayStation. I wasn't even bashing the PS4. I just asked, hey, does anybody else have this issue with network speed? Like I have 100% signal strength. My Xbox is fine. My PC is fine. And they're like, well, get off wireless. I'm like, the wireless shouldn't make my computer go this, or shouldn't make the network go this slow just on the PlayStation. Like something's not right here.
I will say,
couldn't get a definitive answer. I just got cursed out.
that's been a default.
At least
but
with
that's been a
Reddit.
default. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Joe.
at least with Reddit, smaller communities tend to be better than larger communities.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that too. I got banned from the PC gaming subreddit
Maybe it's because the
I
smaller communities
questioned
are
what
more
can we
intimate.
talk about because everything's against the rules.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I will throw this out there. Like, obviously, subreddits are kind of a good example of subcultures because that's what Reddit is. It's a collection of subcultures, but not just gaming. But I've been involved in, like, obviously Halo subcultures for a while, and then obviously more recently a lot of BioWare subcultures, and Bethesda subcultures as well. And the thing I find is that, first of all, Bethesda subcultures, those guys are fanatics, like crazy fanatics.
Aren't most subcultures?
No, well, there's some that are more chill and relaxed. Like some, I'd say there's.
I will say the Fallout subreddit could be a lot worse. I found it
the
actually
Fallout
to be a
one could be
lot
worse.
less circle jerky than I thought it would be.
Like I won't even post in the Fallout one. I'll just kind of lurk.
Yeah,
The Fallout subreddit, they're actually willing to talk about flaws in Fallout 4.
Well,
which
the
blew
thing
my
is
mind.
that I don't notice that in so much. When I say fanatical, I don't necessarily mean like refusing to accept the flaws of it. What I'm meaning by fanatical, I mean like you ask a question and you will get a response that is like from some obscure line of a book from somewhere. There was this piece of information, depending on how nice.
Those guys.
Yeah, like when I say fanatical, I mean like Bethesda fanboys tend to be lore junkies, kind of like Dark Souls or Dead Souls. Fanatics tend to be lore junkies.
That's what, out of all the things Bethesda does, the only thing that they do really, really well
is lore,
is world building and lore. That's it.
Yep.
So of course, people who like them happen to like world building and lore.
Whereas the Mass Effect subcultures
some of the best
all about community because they don't want to have to talk about the morality system.
Some of the best communities I found, at least on Reddit, again, are more obscure, smaller ones. Both of them, though, happen to not be about like the more mainstream gaming. One is the visual novels subreddit, and the other one is the fantasy subreddit. About fantasy novels and shit. Those two communities are great, but I've noticed the larger a community gets, the more and more you'll see the circle jerks start and the hostile people.
And that kind of is something that you notice comes out of even outside of gaming, right? Like if you look at like a lot of your political or groups tend
I think it's
to,
just the nature of a smaller group is that it's going to be more insular and it's going to be more intimate, and because of that, there's going to be less assholes randomly hidden in there, ready to make life miserable for people.
I don't know. The PC Master Race subreddit is like overly politically correct.
It's
Probably
like a huge
because
subreddit.
yeah, but probably because they've grown that over time. It's not like it just randomly happened. They probably had so much trash come in there. They had
Well,
to.
see, but that's the whole PC Master Race thing. Like they're like being overtly nice about consoles now. I'm like, but the whole idea of PC Master Race is like kind of to be like shit
Elitism.
on them. Yeah, that's like the whole
It's
point.
it's
It's like they're like,
it's
oh,
the
but
whole
consoles are.
term
I mean,
is harkening
the
back
name
to
is a joke. It's not like they're
yeah,
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like where people ran away with it as,
yeah.
like where people really like had an ego. Hey, I'm PC Master Race, and then when you go to the subreddit, they're like, yeah, PCs are better, but we should still be nice to consoles.
Well, the thing
because
is
it's like I agree with that though. It's like don't shit on the people who play the consoles. It's like
No,
it's
no,
fine to
no, shit
shit
on the
on the
consoles
consoles.
yeah.
themselves. Oh no, because
Yeah.
maybe they're stemming back to the PS4 subreddit. They shit on me for having a PC.
Yeah, the thing is that you find there's a lot of the thing is that a lot of people what it boils down to in a lot of the console versus PC thing is that everybody wants to feel justified in their purchase, right? So
Right.
if they're if they're like if you come in there talking about PC, they know that PCs
Oh
can be
yeah.
better than console, but it feels like to them like they're taking away their justification for their purchase, that they somehow spent their money wrong, which means that they're somehow a bad person or
Well,
inferior in some
well,
way.
I can't. I find it hard to feel bad about, like, to like feel sorry for those people. Like, I understand why you would, go with that way of thinking because, being a consumer, making a bad, quote unquote, bad purchase is a lot of stress. It
Yeah.
can, it can
Hmm.
cause depression.
Hmm.
It's not a good thing.
Right.
So,
And maybe that's where all the damage control communities on YouTube come from. There
Yeah.
are so many communities on YouTube that are just built around defending a console.
Yeah, like on, and that's not just there. That's like Facebook, Reddit. You will see like they'll try to defend everything they can, or like I said, whenever like you, like the spec sheet discussion between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's like, who
They're
cares,
so
man?
minusculely different, or
It,
like the differences are so small.
yeah, it's just it's like I said, it's the justification, right? Well, the
Hmm.
thing is that with a lot of that's the same that boils into really big fans of a game franchise. Usually, you don't get people of a singular game that comes out that are super fanboys. It's usually or like I shouldn't say fanboys, but really big fanatics or subcultures of a single game. Usually, it's a franchise that has continuing releases.
Hmm.
It's the thing is that I noticed that a lot of times they will some of like the gaming subcultures of a game typically don't get into the flaws of the game so much as discussing the story, the lore, the gameplay, strategy, stuff like that.
Or what's amazing about the game, kind of thing.
Well, not
Like you can't.
necessarily what's amazing is the details of the game. Like that's really what they want to get into. Now you have the critics and you have the fanboys of the game. Like for example, whenever we were having our discussion about Battlefield that got kind of heated on
Oh, the
Facebook
Battlefront one.
or Battlefront. God damn it, not Battlefield. That name was a bad idea. I'm just gonna throw it out
Was.
there for
Yeah, it
advertising.
might have been. But I think you misunderstood me too because I wasn't
Oh,
trying to defend a purchase. That
no.
was my point. I just felt the game was good on its own merit.
What I'm well, my point of that, and the discussion aside, you find a lot of people who will kind of blatantly try to, guess I'm trying to put it in a way that makes sense. You have people that will try to defend a title and people that will try to undermine a title for no other, not the sake of the game. They will do it for just the sake of, some people are trolls, or like the Call of Duty Battlefield thing that was around for a while where people would shit on Call of Duty because they were a Battlefield fan or vice versa.
I call Battlefront EA hot garbage, it's because it could be so much better. Like come on, this is mediocrity.
Well,
Battlefront isn't terrible, but it's so mediocre.
Yeah,
it's like this could be so much.
That's not
better.
so much on the subculture side of it, though. That
I
was
know,
our
it's
discussion on there. Folks are welcome to go to Sean Stone's Facebook page where we got into that argument and read our discussion on that. That's not so much the point. It's the people that have these certain points where they go out of their way to, disown certain things.
Some people like to argue.
Yeah.
Like some people just like to argue.
I know I fall into that. I tend to get debatey a lot. And if I don't feel like your argument has if I feel an argument has doesn't have enough effort put into it, I guess is the best way to put it, I oftentimes am like, yeah, I'm not going to agree with you unless you can literally talk me down intelligently and counter my point with enough evidence to disprove it. Then I oftentimes am stubborn about it. I'm one of those people. But when it comes to a game, I literally have, at this point, am kind of cynical about all games that come out. I'm, like I said, at this point, I'm really kind of cynical about Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm going to probably pre-order that game and probably going to probably play the shit out of that game. But I have a lot of reservations at this point. Is
that what happens when you get old?
No, I think that's what happens when you've been gaming for a long time. I'll be honest with you. I am strongly considering buying it on console, just on console, because I'm afraid of them trying to Dragon Age Inquisition it.
Yeah, that's my concern. Essentially, Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was amazing. Obviously, we know. But there's been a lot. It was kind of a fluke to me.
Right.
They tried to recreate it, force it in Inquisition, and let's be honest, they fucked up.
It could have been great, but they didn't. But they forgot what made the Mass Effect multiplayer great.
Trying to catch that lightning in a bottle for a second time.
but they missed why people loved it. For example, the variety in gameplay in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was amazing, and the support. We got what was 4 or 5 updates. You can
almost tell that they're best.
Like 60 characters, plus a bunch of weapons, variations and powers, so many different ways to build, and it was pick up and play. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. There was just so many. Like I said, it was a fluke, in my opinion. It was just a perfect storm of the right features that just happened to fall into place. They didn't even realize what those right features were. Let's be honest, because that's why they kind of fucked up.
The problem is that the first priority, you could tell from the onset, was got to get that RNG loot box in there, and we got to get them.
That's the thing. Is that honestly that wasn't even the priority, because
that's EA.
That's EA.
Yeah.
Well, no,
EA
that's
announced that as being one of their imperatives.
It's the exact same fucking model that they had in Mass Effect. They threw in. They tried to literally build a Dragon Age skinned
around
Mass
a
Effect
monetization model.
Well, they didn't build it around it. It was just built the game into it.
Around. With Dragon Age Inquisition's multiplayer, it felt like they took a monetization model and built the game around it.
Well, the thing is that it felt like they tried to.
The game was designed to be. Microtransactions.
It seemed like they realized that there were some flaws in the Mass Effect monetization model, most particularly, they were trying to grind for these certain things is really a pain, so let's give you an option to craft them if you get duplicates. The problem is that wasn't necessary in Mass Effect because they had a terminating drop table. There was only so many times you could get certain items before they were removed from the drop table. If you were really patient enough, which I never was, you could literally max out all of your items and equipment at 255, all your consumables at 255, never get those from the drop table, and then you would and get all of your guns up to the gold level maxed out, so that those were removed from the drop table, all the character models, and you would get nothing but all ultra rare drops. Always. In theory. But good God, the amount of patience and time that would take would be excruciating. But it's still that's something that was unique to Mass Effect, and I feel like they kind of failed at it.
Right.
They tried to come back, and especially shout out to Luke Barrett, who kind of took the reins and tried to pick up the pieces of Dragon Age's multiplayer and make it worthwhile. And like you can tell, like that he really wanted to try to do right by it, and took a lot of feedback from the community and make things better. It's hard to, like, it's the whole joke about building a castle on a swamp. You can make it the most ornate and beautiful castle you want. You're building it on a fucking swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was doing. He did his best. He definitely made it, the end of it, better, but the basis of the whole system was kind of flawed from the start, and it was unfortunate.
Well, I think part of it is too, by the time, and I know I left about March, April.
Yeah,
And it's like by then, it's like a lot of people had already left.
oh,
By the time they tried to pick it up, it was already done.
well, it was, now the big thing about, and I've said this before, the
Vacation?
yeah, the whole vacation thing right after dropping the Destruction DLC fucked that multiplayer so badly. That was a mistake. Good God, Mass Effect team, if you are planning on launching it in the holidays of 2016 or 2017 or whenever you actually launch the game,
Don't do it.
don't drop a fucking DLC right before you go on vacation. Learn your lesson. Learn it well.
Don't drop it during the holiday season because you know you're going to want that time with your family. Push it back into the spring.
In January, yeah, or well, no, I mean January
The
after
thing is,
everybody's
though-
January would be good too. January, especially, is a dead month to put out that big game. They're not going to do it because they're like, oh, it's so close. We could just squeeze it out for Christmas.
Well, no, I mean
That's what it is. Like their idea is literally just like if they're gonna have
that's on
microtransactions,
EA though. I think that's on
EA's gonna be like, we gotta get out for Christmas.
Holiday
gotta get
launches
them
are good for
spending
sales.
money.
Yeah, they're
And
great for sales.
That's the thing, is that's okay. I'm totally fine with the holiday launch of Andromeda as long as it's fucking done.
Right.
Don't fucking launch the game if it isn't done. Don't let EA bully you, because BioWare is about the only one of EA's underlings that actually has the clout to tell EA to fuck off.
Right.
If they would. But I just feel like they really need to kind of play a cautious route on dropping DLCs right before they go on vacation. That was what fucked the multiplayer royally. I mean, the multiplayer was it was decent, because there's a lot of people playing it. Everybody was having fun. The social aspect was there. But the moment they dropped that Destruction DLC, and then they went on vacation for over a month, and at end of January, the multiplayer community died. It was so poorly enacted, and that's what killed it.
I think with Inquisition 2 was a lot of the stuff like loot diversity and how, like, you get this badass legendary sword and it's like, oh man, like this is the most,
Photo
best
there,
sword
we
in the
totally
game.
just sidetracked off of gaming subcultures. Totally.
Oh yeah,
Goddamn BioWare games.
we're at 9:30 anyways. So.
Shh. Anyway, so yeah,
So,
before yeah.
I was going to say what my game subculture that I wish I would have joined was,
Please
and
do.
that was Chrome Hounds. I really wish
remember
I
that.
would have been part of the
It
Chrome
just would have
Hounds
made you
team.
more sad when they shut it down, though.
It would have.
It was
but,
actually
like,
a pretty fun game, I'll admit.
yeah, like, and the fact that it just got completely yeah, and like, what really interests me about Chrome Hounds was how they did the whole like war system where you had different sides and it would dynamically change. It would actually dynamically change what happened inside the game depending on what side pushed where. And I always found that so interesting and wish I could have gotten into it. I bought the game from Walmart, brought it home. The online didn't work. I looked online and it said showed me that the server's been shut down a week or so.
Why didn't you look that up before you bought the game?
Yeah.
Well, I don't. How often do you look up and see if a game's servers got shut down.
I
That would be
definitely
like-
researched
I
games
I
before.
would do the basic looking up and see that like right away. That's
I
like,
Yeah.
I wasn't
That's not
old
some
enough.
obscure
Look, guys,
thing.
I wasn't old enough to look
You know,
look that up. Okay.
I didn't consider it
I was a
actually,
young
and
naive kid. Okay.
I didn't actually consider it until I got into PC
Mm-hmm.
because and this is, and we've talked about this. I think, or at least I've talked about it on the show too. My biggest problem with PC gaming is that it's hard to socialize with other gamers unless you're playing like something maybe like an MMO.
Yeah.
Because one, everybody is on their own VoIP option, and then everybody is so dispersed. So you don't know where the community is in a game or if they're even still around. As opposed on consoles, most people stick on games for years due to the limitations in terms of how
Yeah.
many
Well,
you actually have
at the
available.
time, I thought that it didn't even cross my mind that servers for a console game could shut down unless the console had been discontinued, right?
Mhm.
Unless, of course, Konami runs the servers, and then you expect them to shut it down as soon as possible.
Because fuck Konami.
Because
Actually,
no,
2K too. Let's not forget about when they tried to shut down the servers for NBA 2K14 right after 2K15 came out, like 3-4 months in. They're okay. We're going to shut it down for 14. I think they tried to do
Hey,
it for MLB The
you know
Show
what?
too.
Call of Duty doesn't shut down the servers, but they might as well with the fact that like the moment the next Call of Duty comes out, the previous one just gets full of hackers like
I
instantly.
tell you what,
and no shits are given.
Call of Duty 4 had a rather impressive amount of quality after, post other game releases. It stayed relevant for quite a long time.
Mhm.
yep.
Even Black Ops 2 stayed relevant, through Ghosts and through Advanced Warfare. It was the most played Call of Duty game for 3-4 years.
Yeah, but in any case, though, to kind of let's go ahead and start getting our final thoughts here, since yes, we are actually past our time slot here. So, Kev, any final thoughts on gaming subcultures and not games themselves? And also, go ahead and give us your channel shilling and what you're doing on your channel.
Oh, the shilling. Right now I'm actually gonna take a couple days off from actually making videos on my channel. I've been going real hard, putting out videos like every day for like the last 2-3 months. So I'm gonna take a few days to chill out, relax, play some games, get some schoolwork done because I'm 6 months from graduation. Enjoy the blue meanie, what I deem my PC because fuck Gaben. And he was the Gaben praiser.
Okay, never mind.
Go
I'll
ahead,
ask.
go ahead.
No, I will ask you later. That's not part of the show.
Other than that, gaming subcultures, I want to meet some more of them on PC. Like I was debating on getting the Division on console because I know people that play there, but I might go get it on PC. So because MMO, maybe I'll meet some people.
I actually am going to have the Division. I know that much. I don't know when, but I'll have it. I will have it because I'm a big fan of the Tom Clancy franchise in general. Like,
Did you
Future
grab that
Soldier.
Humble Bundle?
No, because I don't care about the fucking beta. I don't want to see the beta.
Oh no, I was talking about the other games.
Oh no, yeah, I have already a lot of them. I have several Rainbow Sixes, although I don't have Siege. I've always had difficulty with the Rainbow Six games because I like the third-person Tom Clancy ones, essentially the Ghost
Siege
Recons.
is supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah, no, Siege
Yeah.
is actually supposed to be really good.
And then
now
all
they
those
got
peasants
the
who
issues
fucking
growing.
complained because it's a multiplayer game for $60,
Yeah.
like Battlefront isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
Battlefront.
honestly, I wish some games would like the multiplayer games. If it's a good multiplayer game, sometimes I don't give a damn about the campaign. Like I've had Battlefield 4 for 2 years. I don't give a fuck about the campaign. You
Yeah.
can might
Exactly.
as well make that. A
Honestly, the
multiplayer-only
people
game.
who complained, and there's a lot of them who complained that Rainbow Six Siege was $60 because it's multiplayer only. Those people just like, go fuck yourselves. Your entitled bitch ass can get out of here. It's like it is a full game. It is worth the
Wait.
full asking
But Joe,
price.
Joe,
Like,
so are
Yeah.
you getting on board with it?
well, I don't have money to buy it. I'm just saying it's
But so if you ended up with that game on your Steam account, you'd play it. That's what you're telling me.
What the?
Probably.
What is?
It's an interesting game.
What do I not know what I'm talking about?
Who said what?
One of the guys, I'm assuming one of your viewers is like, Angelus doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, I haven't been talking.
I'm not Twitch streaming.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
that's on your channel. That's on your Twitch, dude. I'm not Twitch streaming. I haven't Twitch. I forgot to set it up. I didn't even think about it.
He said you'd be big pimping. So
Eh,
I don't know.
sometimes you do.
It's Dur DTV. I don't know. Whoever that is, I don't know what I'm not talking about, or that I don't know what I'm not don't know what I'm talking about. God damn.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Joe,
But I know Jeremy's on there playing too. Jurassic Jeremy, shout out to him because we got to get him back on the show for guest appearance.
yeah, at some
So
point in time.
he's been trying to get me on it with him, and I was like, we need to get like a group of people to play, and I'll jump on it.
Yeah.
What, on Siege?
Yeah.
If I end up with it,
I've been
at some
considering
point, I would
Siege at
probably
some
play it.
point. I just have difficulty anymore playing a lot of the first-person shooters. I honestly figured out that I'm just bigger third-person shooter fan. You know, like since the last real first-person game that I got into was, it was Modern Warfare 3, and that before that it was
It's the
Halo
fact
2.
that matches begin with literally like the defenders setting up defense, and instead of attackers just like waiting for them, it's like you use that opportunity to gain reconnaissance, and you can like drive an RC drone in there and actually try to like drive around and get a peek at the defenders' defenses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, it's just looks like
Like I
such a
said,
fun game.
it's definitely seems to be a great game, and I'm hoping that they try to get something like that in Division. I hope that carries on the depth. That's all I fucking care about. Give me some goddamn complexity in my shooter.
And actually, I hear that Siege does have
that.
quite a
Yeah.
bit of depth.
Yeah, Siege
Yeah.
is very deep and very complex, which is great.
Which is why it's sad
Good
to see all
fucking
these
job.
fucking peasants complaining about the
All right,
costs.
so
So anyway,
All
Joe, is that your final thoughts for the day?
The peasantry.
Go play Tales from the Borderlands. It's very good if you like Telltale games. Even if you don't like the Borderlands games, go
And there
play
you
it.
go.
You know, and I want this on record too. I picked up Undertale during the Steam sale, during the Christmas sale. If it's bad, Joe, I'm holding you personally responsible.
It's amazing. It's one of the best games
If
I've ever
if
played.
it's bad, I'm blaming you.
It's probably one of the best games of last year.
Yeah.
So good.
Better than
Get
Fallout.
past the ruins before you judge it, because it gets a lot better once you get past that first area.
Okay. Travis, final thoughts.
all right. So first, I would like to ask you guys. So Siege is actually looking good because the last time I
Yeah.
even looked into it, wasn't looking too hot.
Oh, it's
They fixed the servers. That was the big issue.
Yeah,
there's
that was
some
the issue.
issues, but they've mostly fixed it. It's very playable now.
So this is kind of related to gaming subcultures, but a while back, whenever I was younger, I used to play Rainbow Six Vegas 2, I believe it was, with my buddy, and we would go like completely operator with that game, with like the terrorist hunts and stuff. We would do room breaches and all kind of signals and jargon and just really get into it. So the concept of Siege really, really excited me because I feel like it catered to that subculture very, very well. So if it is good, I am definitely going to look into building something that can play it and get it because, like, to be able
from what I've heard, it's
to relive that time and just how much fun that was to really get into a breach game in depth.
I'm just throwing it out there. Zyphon already offered, and he will get. He's not going to try to build you some super elite system. He'll get you something that's reasonably priced. That'll run Siege. Just throwing it out there. Hit him up. There's a reason why his business is called Economy PC Service. He doesn't do elite high end super custom systems. He gets you what you need for the right price. So
All right.
So yes, and you're gonna pay me for that fucking advertisement, Siphon. Anyway, so
let's see. What was my other thing I was going to say about gaming subcultures? In gaming subcultures, all of you people that put the time in to help new players and make it a comfortable environment for them, I definitely have a shout out for you because you make gaming much more
You should see
enjoyable.
the guys on the Warframe.
yeah, I call them generally ambassadors
a
for
lot of
any
them are
game.
very willing to be our players.
it really makes the gaming experience pleasant and amazing. And realistically, it is one of the positives about the PC gaming experience is that there tend to be, some really, really good parts of the community for that.
Yeah. If you want to build a rig, they will tell you everything you need to know. The problem is, and this is the problem that I've always bumped into, is just, like I said, meeting people. And if you go on, and this actually pissed me off about the PC gaming subreddit, is that they wouldn't allow you to just meet people. They're like, no asking about it, no talking about meeting, no talking about gaming together, we'll ban you.
Well, what I really suggest for anybody wanting to meet people on, for PC, you got to delve into the smaller communities.
You have to
find them.
Yeah.
Find them first.
I don't want to, go on those Chan sites, go on those small forums, because that's where you're going to meet small groups of people that are possibly receptive to newcomers and will make some really great and fun gaming experiences.
Yep, that's pretty much it. That's how, Mass Effect had the N7 Spec Ops community. Dragon Age had pretty much the forum. Like a lot of the gamers on the forums were where you found people to play with, unless you just wanted to pug it. Warframe has several different outlets for its community that you can get involved in.
I'd avoid the official forums.
Yeah, I posted a couple things up on there. Anyway,
they were very circle jerky.
So as far as my final thoughts for the day, obviously, hoping to get some new content up here in January. We'll see. Obviously, I put up the podcast and stuff, but everybody should know me by now, since I host this show, and you hear me talking a lot since I talk too much. Yeah. Although, random topic for the day, my name is no longer solely in my possession. There's some Pokemon spin-off culture that has this Pokemon Academy called Saint Mortiel's Academy. I shit you not. I know
I created it to troll you.
No, you couldn't have. It's all on. It's pretty much all on DeviantArt.
I'm fucking with you. Oh, you think I can't draw now?
Yeah, I am. But no, I said I found him on Twitter, and I was like, fuckers, what? They're not new. They came out like last year. Or maybe the year before. I'm like, I've been Mortiel for like a decade now. You can't try to say that you've been Mortiel longer than me. I am the fucking original bitch. No, anyway, I thought that was funny. I was like, finally, someone who has some sense and knows a good name when they hear it. In any case, though, it's pretty much been posting up the podcast for the past several weeks, except for my Vauban Christmas video, and that was awesome. Got Major in there. He's a YouTube star now. Yes.
Hashtag get Joel on Twitch.
No, like
a guy who recognized my name.
Yeah, like I put out that Vauban video, and then someone found him in game and was like, "Aren't you the guy from that Vauban video?" Yep, he's famous. Yep. In any case, guys, we're gonna go ahead and sign off on here, and we will catch you guys all next week here on the Pixel Crashers podcast.
Woo!